Good morning. Happy Friday. I was not intending to make a video on this. Normally, people don't really care about Darcy. Like, my videos on Darcy don't get hardly any views compared to any of the other videos. And that's fine. I don't do this for clicks and views. I'm not monetized. I don't really care. I talk about what I want to talk about. But one of the things that I do is if enough people contact me about a particular subject, I will make videos about things that I otherwise wouldn't make videos about. So this issue with Arcy is one of those things I wouldn't have even commented on. I don't really give a shit. He calls me a lapdog, fine, whatever. Like I mean, if that's the best you got, I've been called a lot worse by a lot better people than him. So I mean, I'm not coming at this with any particular animosity towards him. I mean, I obviously let me state for the record that I think Darcy is probably a pretty good attorney. He knows certain areas of the law. He's probably very competent in those areas of the law. He's not Eline. I would never defame Darcy by saying that he is as incompetent as Eline. On the other hand, Randy is a competent attorney. In the areas of the law that he practices, he seems like a competent attorney. Between the two of them, just for the record, not that I think this has any bearing on the thing, but because Arcy is bringing up his litany of "I'm a super lawyer," woo! And I have a published appellate opinion in California, woo! I've tried 17 or whatever, how many cases he's tried, woo! None of that means shit. But for the purposes of copyright, the person who has spent more time doing copyright is Randy. Randy's done more. So who is likely to know more about it just off the top of their head? Like if you were passing him on the street and you're like, hey, and you asked him about a particular section of the U.S. code that relates to copyright, Randy would probably be able to give you a better answer just off the top of their head. But again, meaningless, because neither one of these guys are doing things off the top of their head. And it was like watching paint dry, watching both of these videos, but I watched Arcy's shit take on the complaint. I don't know why he made such a shit take on the complaint. It was amateur hour. It was a really bad take. It was just a bad take. Like, this is not because I don't like Darcy. I mean, I really don't have any feelings towards him either way. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you. But it was a shit take. I mean, like complaining that he didn't use the California style manual citations when this is filed in federal court, and kind of the default in federal court is Blue Book. I mean, you can use either. Like a lot of these nitpicky things, I think, was Arcy pandering to his base. Arcy does have a monetized channel. Why he needs a monetized channel, I don't know. Maybe his law practice isn't going as well as he had hoped. I don't know. But he has a monetized channel. And so when you have a monetized channel, you're much more a slave to what your viewers want, because you give the opinion they don't want, they don't watch your videos. And so then, the next thing you know, your revenue drops. Now, I've made a lot of videos that have pissed a lot of people off. My take on fraud or troll pisses a lot of people off. My viewership is down. Don't really care. But if I was monetized, that would bother me. I was going from 1,200 views a video to 600 views a video. Again, I'm not monetized. It doesn't affect me. But if I was monetized, that would be concerning, right? So I can understand why he did a shit take. Find all the little nitpicky things to try to mollify your viewership. But his legal takes in that were also bad. Not just the nitpicking. I mean, his legal takes were bad. And I don't know what happened. I don't know how he shit the bed this bad. But when he read the YouTube, what is it, terms of service or something like that, or licensing agreement, he shit the bed on that too. It was truly a masterclass in a lawyer shitting the bed, just being completely incompetent at that point in time. I'm not saying he's an incompetent attorney. I'm saying that at that point in time, his take was incompetent. Randy, who I don't really like, he is in my Discord, but I take him to task pretty frequently in there, is a competent attorney. I read his complaint. It was a competent complaint. It wasn't a superstar complaint. It wasn't stellar, but it was competent. It was workmanlike. He added in some fluff, whatever. His motions have been generally okay, not great, okay. His approach is procedurally oriented. He's moving forward, doing the steps he needs to do. He seems to understand what he's doing. We have a bit of a disagreement on the Hague Convention. He thinks the Hague Convention doesn't apply to Ireland. I think it does. They're a signatory to it. So his service on Irish Demon is going to have to comply with the Hague Convention requirements that Ireland has instituted for service. Hague Convention will also apply to his service to Fraud or Troll, who's in Canada. They're also a signatory to the Hague Convention. I don't claim to be an expert on the Hague Convention, but I do know that generally speaking, countries require the notice to go through the country. So if you're serving Irish Demon in Ireland, you have to send notice. My understanding of I haven't looked at Ireland's requirements or Canada's requirements. I've done one service of summons in India for one of my clients, and that process was a fucking nightmare. I'm going to say it took a year, but maybe it only took like 6 months. It took for fucking ever to get that shit done because we had to send it to the state. The state had to serve it. Like, we couldn't just have our own guy serve it. The state had to serve it, and then the state had to document the service, and then the state had to send us a formal copy back, and it was just a nightmare. So again, I don't know the particular service requirements, but the Hague Convention does apply to both countries, so he's going to have to comply with those countries' requirements under the Hague Convention for service, right? But lawyers can make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I had to mea culpa yesterday in my Discord because I was making a mistake, right? So lawyers can make mistakes, and that doesn't make them incompetent lawyers. They might have been incompetent at the point where they're making the mistake, but that doesn't make them incompetent lawyers. Both lawyers are competent, but of the two, the arguments that Randy had were better than the arguments that Darcy had. And of the two, the relevant experience is favoring Randy. But that, again, if the law doesn't support you, you could have, I work with a lawyer with 52 years of experience, and he has shit takes on the law all the time. So don't put that much stock in experience. That's just how long you've been doing it. And wins at trial are also different because one side is going to go to trial with the facts on their side and with the law on their side, much more than the other one is. I mean, nobody's ever had a perfect case, but there's always one side has the facts and the law in their favor. And unless the attorney shits the bed, he could be a mediocre attorney and still win simply because the facts and the law are on your side. I mean, that's just this is people have this mistaken view of lawyers as being able to take shit facts and no law and somehow manage to charm juries and judges into making decisions that are against the facts and the law. While that probably has happened, it is a rare occurrence. Judges, while they do make mistakes, take their job seriously, generally speaking, #not all. Juries, in my opinion, make mistakes, but they seem to take the law and the facts seriously. My opinion, my experience, your experience may vary. And speaking of trial and speaking of juries, there are attorneys out there. I faced a trial attorney in another case of mine. Actually, it was a case for a different law firm, but I was the attorney on that case for that law firm, and I was facing multiple attorneys from multiple law firms because they had a specific trial attorney that they brought in to handle the trial aspects of it. It is not uncommon. There's attorneys who all they do is trials. Trial prep and trial. That's what they do. because trials are completely different than the rest of the process. It's a situation where you kind of have to know exactly. You have to have a good grasp of what valid objections are. You have to be able to come up with them in a timely fashion. So you have to be really familiar with them. You have to have experience with jury selection, picking out which jurors are going to probably be biased against your client for whatever reason. These are all skills that are developed over time, and most attorneys, at least civil attorneys, family law attorneys, maybe not family law attorneys, but most civil attorneys go their whole careers without ever going to trial. That's the norm, not the exception. There's very few attorneys who have the capacity to go to trial. And it's not a knock on the attorneys. It takes a different skill set. I work with another attorney who he's like taxes, he's amazing. Bureaucracy kind of things, he's amazing. Procedure, he's amazing. He could quote statutes from like multiple different codes. Like, I mean, I could do like family law or family code and like evidence code and some things that like civil code of civil procedure, but like his knowledge of codes is like wider than I would have expected. He could cite cases off the top of his head, but you get him in front of a judge or a jury and he just stammers so he can't do trials, and that's fine. He's still a good attorney. He doesn't do the trials. If he has a trial, I'll do the trial. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. So Darcy saying that, Randy has only done one trial or whatever, that's not a point. The point is at this stage of the proceeding, did he craft a good complaint? Did he adequately plead a valid cause of action? Yes, he did. That's all he has to do. Like 99% of cases settle. Most cases settle. Very few cases go to trial. If Irish Demon gets an attorney, or if Fraud or Troll gets an attorney, they'll try to settle it. Their attorney will try to settle it rather than take it to trial. Because that's what you do as a good attorney. Good attorneys try to settle. Now, Arcy comes from a different field. I believe he practiced criminal law for quite a while. And in criminal law, a lot of cases go to trial. A much higher percentage of cases go to trial in criminal law than they do in family law. So criminal attorneys get a lot more experience at trial. And you have to be, really, to be a criminal attorney, you've got to be ready to go to trial. That's my understanding. I've done very little criminal work, and I was a bit of a fish out of water when I did it. So, they have their own language. They know the procedures. Like, I can muddle through it, but I'm not going to know all the different possibilities for tactics and all the different strategies for tactics, or different strategies that I could take, all the different possible paths to take to get a better resolution. You don't get that without the experience. And that's another thing. I don't claim a lot of experience. I claim to be a first-year family law attorney. And I prove that I'm right by presenting the facts and presenting the law and explaining the law and citing the cases if necessary, and citing the statutes if necessary, and citing the rules of court if necessary. I don't try to tell people that my experience means that they should believe what I say. I lay it out in hopefully a cogent, like when I responded to Jason's whack, like I could have just said, I'm an attorney with a year of family law experience. I know more than you, so you're dumb and wrong. But I didn't. This is why you're wrong. This is why you're wrong. This is why you're wrong. Here's the minute order showing that there's a permanent injunction against contact. I laid it out. I laid the facts out. Why? Because appealing to authority, saying that I'm an expert and you're not, is meaningless. And so we circle back around. If Arcy had a good argument against the complaint, he should lay it out. He should lay out why Randy is wrong, citing the code sections, citing the case law. And you know what? If he was really sure of it, instead of threatening defamation, which is a fucking non-threat as far as I'm concerned, threatening a defamation lawsuit to an attorney for making public comment on a case that is of public interest, especially that you're the attorney for, having differing opinions from a YouTube commentator who's talking about your case on a public forum for the purposes of an anti-SLAPP lawsuit. YouTube would be a public forum, not for First Amendment activities, but for California's anti-SLAPP law. YouTube, it would be a public forum just for the purposes of the anti-SLAPP law. I want to be clear on that. Like, it's a nonsense threat. It's stupid. Like, Darcy was stupid for saying it. Like, again, he shit the bed. Again, incompetency again. Why would he do it? Don't know. Not scared. Randy's not scared. I mean, it's the dumbest fucking threat he could make. Literally the dumbest. And the other one, like, I'm going to make more videos about you? Okay. Like, and? I don't watch your fucking videos, so I don't really care. Go ahead, dude. I mean, at worst, it would just make people want to come over and see what I'm talking about. So, okay. Oh, no. Don't give me free advertising, you fucking retard. Anyway, but if he really believed that the facts and law backed up what he said, Darcy could have done exactly what I did with Eli. I will make you a bet. We'll split the cost for a retired judge who has experience in copyright. We'll both basically submit briefs. Each side can make an opposition brief to the other side's brief, or reply brief, or however you want to call it. We'll submit it to him. We'll let him review the law, and render an opinion on who's right. Loser pays the bill, and throws in an extra 10 grand. I think I bet Eli 10 grand, or I attempted to bet him 10 grand, but he was too much of a chicken shit to accept because he knew he was fucking wrong. He knew the facts in the law did not support him. Darcy knows the facts in the law don't support him. He knows that. He's probably looked into it, which is why he's making stupid YouTube drama bullshit posts that look like they should be appended to a 1990s mail order infomercial. I mean, so if you think that Darcy's right, great. I mean, I'm not going to change your opinion. I mean, you're going to listen to him because whatever. If you are at all unbiased in this, you're going to see that what I'm saying is true. If Darcy truly believed what he had to say, make a bet. Make a bet. You're both California attorneys. You both probably know how to get in contact with Judicate West or JAMS ADR or one of the other dispute resolution, or maybe guys who have their own practices, who have like retired judges with their own practices. Get together, mutually agree on one, make a fucking bet, and do this. And you know what? Put your reputations where your mouths are. Publish your briefs. Publish the result, the opinion of the judge. Let's see. You don't need YouTube drama to do this shit. You can fucking handle it. You're both successful attorneys. You can afford to drop 10 grand on a bet like this. Go for it. Anyway. So it's nonsense. It's all nonsense. Patrick was wrong. Arcy was wrong. He had a shit take. His pride's hurt. Whatever. He's gonna puff his chest out. I mean, if he's tried to drop that shit on an associate, like, the associate probably be like, okay, well, you're the boss. I gotta back down because you're putting your foot down and saying I have more experience than you. But I'm not his associate. Randy isn't his associate. And you just look stupid. You look stupid and weak. Grow up, Darcy. Grow up. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.